Codit is a series of projects that I've got on Drupal.org. In order to understand Codit, first thing you have to realize is that Codit and all of its other modules are modules for developers. If you're a programmer, these will definitely help you. If you're not a programmer, you should look for other solutions. The basic idea behind Codit is that when you're building a site, there are always instances where you have custom code just for that site. You might have some JS for your site that's custom. You may end up putting that in your theme. You may have some hooks that you want to add. Those may get placed in a feature or someplace else. It would make sense to put them in a feature if they're specific to something that the feature is controlling. But if they're not, if they're just specific to the site in general, Codit Local would be a good place to put those. You may have some bits of PHP that you like to use or that are custom for that specific site. And again, they don't quite fit into residing in an existing feature for your site. And you just want a place to put this bit of code that you can have access to it from someplace else. And so you end up starting to collect these little bits and pieces that are custom for a given site. And they can reside all over the place. And then it can take another developer coming in quite a while to track them down, to know where they live, to know where to find them. And Codit starts to resolve that by giving you a place to put all these things. And it's basically it's a contrib module, but as soon as you check it out and put it in your site, it really becomes a custom module, because the idea is that you will put other things in there. You'll register other hooks there, you'll add your JS there, you'll add some of your PHP there. So it really becomes a custom module as opposed to a contrib module, even though it has a contrib module as its base. As the maintainer of Codit Local, I'm not going to make structural changes to it. It's pretty much set. There isn't a lot of existing code that goes along with Codit Local. Codit Local is mainly just a storage place with just a small amount of backend that's in there so that it can work with other Codit modules. And so at its base, it's just a storage place for custom code that's easy to add and easy to then use within your site. As I mentioned, there's a bunch of supporting code that then lets you do other things, additional useful things. And that's actually the Codit base module. That just Codit requires Codit Local. You can install Codit Local and just use that all by itself. But as soon as you add Codit and enable that, then you start getting a little bit more power. There's some more functions that are built with the idea of making a developer's life easier, and some other features that become kind of nice that get connected together as soon as you enable Codit. But by itself, Codit does very little. Codit registers a couple of permissions and a method for debugging some output, so that you can actually see output, get information from a debug command, from a query parameter added to your site. But it does it in a secure way. And then where Codit then goes that much farther is that in the addition of other things, and lots of times on sites we want custom blocks. And so another module, Codit Blocks, then enables you to create blocks very easily, create very custom blocks with very custom logic, all within a safe and easy to develop method. And again, all those site blocks actually reside in Codit Local. And so you've got these two contrib modules of Codit and Codit Blocks that can be updated without ruining your local hacks which all reside in Codit local. And then these just have the framework to talk to Codit local and access the related information, access the related blocks, access some of the other functions that connect them all together. And so the fastest way to get set up with Codit local and Codit is simply to use Drush. And the only tweaks to the basic Drush download and enable commands is to sort of absolutely control where you want items to appear. And so we definitely want Codit local to go into a site's custom section and really not reside in sites all if you're using a multi-site. You really want this to go into either default or sites, mysite.com/modules/custom. And so Drush DL Codit local and then specify the destination. And it will prompt you and tell you that the destination doesn't exist yet. Do you want to? Yes. And then at this point you can enable Codit local. And then the next thing we'd want to do is download Codit, but in this case we want this to actually reside in contrib. We want this to be available to all of your multi-site. If you have a multi-site install, you want it to be available to everything. It is a contrib module. It by itself is not going to be hacked, is not going to be altered, is not going to be customized. And so we can put that in specifically in sites all modules contrib is a great place for it. And then we can enable that. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And stay tuned, I'll have some other video up shortly for how to specifically use Codit blocks. Thanks. Take care.